Hello.
Hello.
I'm guessing, are we live?
I do not know.
Your knuckles. Happy marathon, happy weekend.
Yeah, it looks like we are live. So,
Cool.
welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
Sonic Advance.
I am Kirbymastah, and with me hosting and commentating is Alec.
Hi.
Never heard him before. No idea who he is. Okay, who is the which? So there was a four-way character bid war for this game: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy. Last I checked,
Indeed.
Tails was in the lead by $50.
It's still just Tails getting the only donation, so you're running as Tails.
All right. Okay, so do we have the countdown timer ready? I'm good to go.
You can do the countdown yourself.
Cool. 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Sonic Advance, the first Sonic Advance game on the GBA, and there are 4 characters you can play as. The one I'm playing as is Tails. His ability is that he can fly, and it's pretty straightforward. And this game can be pretty fast. So
Especially as Tails.
yeah, Tails is the fastest character in the game in terms of like how quickly he beats the entire game. And the route I want to take here is grabbing the speed shoes and basically flying over the rest of the stage.
Yeah, normally without the speed shoes, Tails' flight isn't as fast as you'd be able to go on the ground with spin dashes and such. But with the speed shoes, it's generally fast enough that you can go and use his flight.
Yeah, the general idea is that whenever you're ascending in the air, you slow down, and when you descend in the air, you speed up, and that applies to Tails' flight. So whenever you fly and try to ascend, you lose a lot of horizontal speed, but sometimes you need the height from that. So a lot of the learning how Tails' flight works is kind of a matter of learning how to balance that, keeping your horizontal speed while keeping your height as well. So coming up is a speedy run through the bushes, and there is an invisible spring in it, so I need to jump over it. Okay, not the perfect jump. So there's a frame. If you jump at the last possible frame over that invisible spring, you can keep all your speed and run even faster because you do a downhill slope jump. But I got like the frame before that, which is still good enough. And the second act of every zone has a boss at the end. That was the first boss. Cleaned up pretty quickly. And then you have to hit the capsule. Tails can fly, so you want to try to like time his flight so he lands right on the capsule as it falls. And that's Neo Greenhill. So yeah, the slope jump mechanics that Supersonic and Alec talked about in the Sonic 1 run very much apply to this game, and pretty much almost every platforming Sonic game, really. So in other words, if you jump up an uphill slope, you gain height but lose horizontal speed, and if you jump down a downhill slope, you gain speed but don't get much height. They're both useful. It comes down to the situation. General gist is, if you want speed, do a downhill slope jump whenever possible. If you need height for a shortcut, do an uphill slope jump. Nice little shortcut here with the speed shoes, and the timing here is a little bit tight. I want to keep the speed shoes all the way to the end so I can take an alternate route that's about a half second faster. If I make a mistake anywhere, then I have to take a slower route. And there we go. I'm good. If you don't have the speed shoes up to that point right there, then the springs won't shoot you to the goal there. But so if you lose at least a half second up to that point, you have to take a top route, which is a little bit slower. Time bonus takes forever in this game, which is why we used to go by in-game time, but we go by a system where you go by real time minus the time bonus. Basically, you manually subtract from real time the amount of time the time bonus takes, which is 1 frame per 100 points. But given this isn't really a PB attempt or whatever, you don't really care too much, so it's not too big of a deal. Just go fast and have fun.
There's a live split plugin for that, which is how we do it.
Okay, so there's something called path swappers in this game, in most 2D Sonic games, and basically the game thinks I'm on the wrong level path right now, so I can kind of go through walls for some time.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different in this version of the game just because of how much you can go through the way the collision works.
Aw, bummer.
Oh, that's unfortunate. So,
Yeah.
he has to kind of maneuver his way in a rather particular way through the rest of the stage after initiating the glitch. He can still interact with sprite objects like the springs, the hooks, and like the speed shoes box, but he also has to be careful about where he goes, because if he interacts with the wrong objects or doesn't interact with the right ones...
Lost a lot of height there. Can I make this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the reason I died on the first time is that there's a tiny invisible little platform you want to jump off of, but I missed the timing for that, so... So when you hit Eggman 4 times, he does a super jump here. I get hit intentionally so I can abuse invisibility frames and get the last 4 hits really quickly. But in that specific scenario, the way I was able to manipulate the path swapper was that when you crouch and scroll the screen down, you can bypass an invisible path swapper without activating it. So the game thought I was on the wrong side of the loop. And that's how the game... So that entire time I was quote-quote out of bounds, the game thought I was on the left side of the loop instead of the correct one. So this is Carnival... I don't even remember the name of this zone. It's Carnival something. Casino something. There's one in almost every Sonic game. It's annoying because there's like bumpers everywhere and stuff, and cycles everywhere. Ooh. Okay. I did a one-tap spin dash on accident. Spin dashing in this game is very simple, fortunately. Generally speaking, you just have to do 2 taps and then you're ready to go. Okay, there are occasions where you want to do a one-tap spin dash instead, but most of the time you only have to tap twice to get the maximum speed I need. Unless your name is TAS. Okay. Something to note is that whenever you spin dash and are in ball mode, you actually lose a lot of control for your character, and when you jump out of ball mode, you don't have any air control. So a lot of times you want to do like a downhill slope jump or fly to regain air control, which is important in some cases. Did not want to hit those balloons, but it's not really a big deal. That jump is a little precise because you kind of have to do a semi-blind jump between 2 balloons and then land on a specific part of a slope to go through that area cleanly. And there's another speed shoes here. And this is an example of a one-tap spin dash that I'm doing here. If I did a 2-tap spin dash, I would hit a wall and lose all my speed. And this boss is random. There's a spike ball that goes around, and Eggman himself that kind of goes in and out of a pipe. Which pipe they come out of and go into is random. So I'm going to be pause buffering to be able to react to which one he comes out of. The nice thing about... Yeah, go ahead.
Tails is one of the better characters for this boss fight because of his tail slap like that.
Yeah, the hitbox for his tail swipe is massive, so it's very useful. And also, Tails can reach the middle platform really quickly by doing a short flight. That being said, Amy is like a lot better for this fight than pretty much any other character. Amy's actually probably the best character in the game for most boss fights because she jumps very high and her hammer's hitbox is ridiculous. But Tails is also usually pretty decent for most bosses. Ice Mountain is kind of the quote-quote water zone, except we're only going to enter water like twice in this run. Very chill. Whoop. Gonna skip a loop here by flying to the top of it, grab another speed shoes. Yeah, you might sense speed shoes are very important in general, because they are very OP in Sonic Advance 1, especially if your name is Amy.
I see what you did there, Kirby.
So here's a bit of water, except now I'm out of it. That's like the one and only obligatory water section you have to go through in this zone, besides the boss. You never have to enter water otherwise. Because the level structure for this level is pretty much a U, where when you go through the bottom of that U... Actually, no, this is the second time you go in water here. We pretty much have to go into the water exactly twice in this level, and then the boss. Obviously, you kind of want to avoid going in water because it's very slow. Also, I got 10,000 time bonus. If I waited an extra half second, I would have saved like 2 seconds. Because the time bonus goes down to 5,000 points at the 1 minute mark. So, I didn't mention something that's important, but Tails' tail swipe is very useful for another reason, because Basically, when you want to start a spin dash, you have to crouch, and in order to crouch, you have to be at a complete stop in this game, and that can be difficult to do because if you're moving even a tiny bit, you will not crouch, which is where Tails' tail swipe comes in handy. Because as long as you're not moving ridiculously fast, his tail swipe will always bring you to a complete stop. So if you're moving at like a medium speed, then you want to do a tail swipe to be able to rev up a really quick spin dash. And it's very consistent and usually the fastest way to charge a spin dash in most scenarios, humanly speaking. So this boss sucks because he's random. He drops icicles in random locations, so they can bop you. And Tails can cheese him by just kind of flying into him, but sometimes you just get bopped by an icicle and there's really not much you can do about it because they're random.
As evidenced by what just happened.
Yeah, but this boss sucks. It's terrible with Sonic. Yeah, it's terrible with Sonic. Okay with Knuckles and Tails, and Amy slaughters this fight because she can actually reach the boss from the very bottom. Alright, so this is the 5th zone, Angel Island. It's a pretty cool zone. This level is also the most broken level in the game because this is the only level in the game where all 4 characters can break it completely. So right there, I did a quick spin dash left. Yes, even Sonic can do this break, a similar break. So basically, the game thinks I'm inside that loop right now. After that, doing a little bit of a pass swap manipulation, and I'm basically going to try to fly near to the end of the stage. The stage design for this level is actually kind of complicated with like a lot of zigzags and stuff, so this is a really good stage to be able to skip like this because you save like around a half minute around. Now I need to find the right place to fall down here, so I hit the proper pass swapper to get back inbounds properly. Because if I try to reach the goalpost immediately while on the wrong room layer, you just fall down and die. An alternative strat is to hit a checkpoint and death abuse. Time bonus? What were you gonna say?
Yeah, other characters do that death abuse just as the way that they finish the level.
Well, you can do it without a death abuse, but usually you end up doing it with Sonic or Amy.
Also, we did get a $10 donation from Scooter388. No comment, but thank you very much, Scooter.
Thank you. Ooh. Forgot I didn't have air control there. Alright, so this stage, I kind of skipped like a third of the stage right here by kind of flying underneath a portion of it. Kind of an interesting example of flying underneath the stage instead of over it.
And I would like to remind everyone that we do have donation incentives for the next couple runs. The next one, you get to choose the path taken in Shadow the Hedgehog, and after that, you can make Paper Mario fight all bosses. So that run upgrade incentive is definitely something that you want to see.
Yeah, this Sonic Advance run is not very long. It's probably going to be like another 10 minutes, and the Shadow the Hedgehog run is right after this. So if you want to see a different path, if you want to donate for the Bit War for the Hero or Dark Story path for Shadow the Hedgehog, then get that donation in. Alright, so this fight is random. It goes by really quickly though, so basically the main thing you want to see is the spin dash pattern, because you can just kind of bop him like that over and over again. So the Blue Knuckles fight went really well. The Red Knuckles not so much, but it's not too big of a deal. Alright, that's Zone 5. We have one more zone to go, and then the last stage in the game. There's probably more like 5 minutes left in the run. So Egg Rocket is the longest stage in the game. It is a vertical stage, which is honestly has pretty cool design. You're kind of on a countdown timer, and you have to kind of climb up each of the 3 major parts of the Egg Rocket within the timer, so you have 5 minutes for each part. It's a really long stage, but it's also really cool to speedrun with pretty much any character that's not named Sonic. But because the stage takes forever, I'm going to try to clip out of bounds right here. This is effectively random.
Yeah, it's some pixels that he can't manipulate, so he just has to hope they're right. And so while that is not actually luck, it is effectively luck, because in real time, outside of a task, you can't really manipulate the right ones.
Mm-hmm. So now I flew around a pass swapper, so I'm on the wrong path again.
And these platforms are sprite-based, so...
yeah, that's a bummer.
What he wanted to do was a super flight off of that box, which means that he would have started flying pretty much right as he hits it. and that would have given him the height of bouncing off the box plus the effects of flight, and that would allow him to get a really crazy amount of height off of that box. Unfortunately, he was just a little bit late.
I use an audio cue for that, but because the item, by the time you have to hit the flight input, you're off screen, so you have to do it blind. Oh, the subpixels are not cooperating with me today. But, you know, it happens.
Right. So I will go ahead and read that.
Go for it.
From Scooter 388. Hope all the firefighters stay safe. As the son of a firefighter, I can sympathize with what the families must be going through. Always good to see the gaming community come together to help out. And we're glad to help out. We are doing something we enjoy, and we're doing something good with it.
Ooh. Man.
Also, this is absolutely god-awful luck here.
This is terrible. I lost a minute to this. And sometimes, even if you clip out of bounds, you're not in the right spot to be able to jump from below like that. You just kind of jump back in bounds. So while I'm flying, I have to navigate my way blind off screen, and hopefully I have enough height and the proper horizontal position to be. Dang it! I did not. So in that case, I hit an invisible wall too soon, so I didn't get the horizontal distance to move left that I wanted to, and then I got clipped underneath that little block there. So unfortunately, I couldn't really showcase this skip, which kind of sucks, but it's a difficult skip. Ideally, you would be able to land on that red box and then do another super fly off of an enemy, which is a much easier super fly, by the way, and then you just end the stage from there.
Yeah.
So you can beat the stage in around 40 seconds, when it normally takes about 2 minutes.
However, you did get up a layer checkpoint-wise, I believe.
Yeah, this is the second segment of the egg rocket. So well, here's the inbounds route. I know some people prefer seeing things inbound, so here you are. It pays to know your inbounds routes. Even though I haven't done this in a while. So this is segment 3. Yeah, so like Tails and Knuckles are only characters who can do the skip. Knuckles' version is a lot harder because you pretty much have to do a similar trick called a super glide, and each one of them is like 10 times harder than Tails, and you have to do like 5 or 6 of them in a row. And it doesn't even skip the entire stage. It saves around 30 to 40 seconds as opposed to like a minute and a half. Somehow in the Sonic Speed Marathon earlier this year, I somehow pulled it off. But I don't pull off the version that's like a bazillion times easier. But, you know, such is life. Actually, I don't remember if I'm supposed to fly to the top. I don't think I can. Yeah, okay. Let's go from here. I have not done this in so long, my goodness, so this is really, really foreign to me.
Fortunately, your estimate is pretty forgiving for this character because, as mentioned before, Tails is the fastest.
Tails is the fastest, and for me, generally the most consistent, along with Amy. So... Sonic and Knuckles are... Well, if you're trying to do most of the out of bounds stuff with Knuckles, and Sonic and Knuckles are like the more volatile characters, punishing characters. So I'm taking the bottom right here in Cosmic Angel 2. This is the second act of Zone 6. And I'm gonna kind of do some gravity manipulation here to kind of take a nice little shortcut here, because your normal path is... Normally you're supposed to kind of run on the ceiling and then kind of take this annoying zigzag path. And I messed up a bit there, but oh well. But you can kind of just skip that by manipulating the gravity. This is kind of a case of not very good level design because you can't see those spikes before you commit to a jump. A lot of people have died there casually. Alright, so this boss kind of has a gimmick where Eggman, you can't hit Eggman, but you have to flip him over by giving enough vertical force by jumping near him on the chain to flip him. each time you hit him, you cannot flip him for a little bit of times, and you also can't flip him when he's against the wall. So you kind of have to like time your jumps appropriately. And I messed up a hit there, so my rhythm's gonna be a little bit off now. So this is gonna be improv. Whoop. Whoop. That hit's intentional. That hit's intentional too. That wasn't intentional? Okay, good.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the trickier bosses in the run.
Yeah, it's like one of those bosses where like with enough practice it's really consistent, but if you make a mistake somewhere then it can be everything goes to hell. So this is the last zone in the game. It's kind of a nostalgia boss rush. Basically you're fighting the first boss of Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. And then a boss exclusive to this game that should stay exclusive to this game and not show up in any other game.
Yeah, so after this little boss rush, the final boss is random.
Yes.
That's not fun.
It's not just the fact that it's random. Basically, you can't hit it until Eggman pops his head out. And he always does for every pattern he does, but how long he does it for is random, which attack he gives you is random, and how long it takes for his head to pop out is random. And the only way to reliably hit him is to keep taking damage and abuse invulnerability frames. And in this game, if you're at one ring, your ring always goes left. So if Eggman gives you the pattern where he goes to the left side of the wall, time's gonna come up soon by the way, then that's really bad because that means you can lose your one ring to it going off screen to the left. The ideal pattern is for him to give you the hand, but he's been giving other patterns. But as long as he doesn't go left like that, then it's not that bad. So this is what you don't want to happen. Time.
GG.
GG. Well, good enough run. Showcase 2 of the skips. But yeah, that's Sonic Advance with Tails.
You got a sub 21, so, you know, it definitely could have been worse. You're safely underestimated.
It could have been worse, yes. Alright, some people requested this. Wait, I haven't checked the name. Okay, good. I haven't checked the name of this Chow before opening this. Funny story. I don't remember which GDQ it was, but I believe I ran Sonic Advance 2 in like an HDQ like 2016 or something, and then on that cartridge, I haven't opened Tiny Chow Garden in like years. So I didn't even think about the name of the Chow, and when I opened it up on stream, it was a curse word that started with the B, and I didn't even notice it until people told me afterwards, that was a really cool move that you did, or that was a really sneaky move you did. And I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? And went back, I'm like, oh crap. So, if you ever want to showcase a Chow Garden, make sure there's no profanity up here. Which I did not check this time, mistakenly, but the good thing about that is that I have a story to tell. So, hey. And I'm gonna rename this Chow really quickly while they get set up for the next run. Here we go. Magoo.
Alright. And if
there you go.
want to get a last second snipe in for the story choice for Shadow the Hedgehog, you'll definitely want to get that in now. Probably should have done it before, but hey. Anyway.
Yeah, get that donation in now, because they're setting up for Shadow the Hedgehog right now, which is coming up next, so.
And we will be right back with that in just a minute or two.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for commentating.